We wanted to know how to improve physical activity for children who were overweight or obesity. So we were really interested in taking a novel approach to looking at how we could teach children to use the resources that are already available to them so that we didn't have to create or institute any novel infrastructure. The study went on for about 3 months, 3 to 4 months, and we showed that children were able to maintain a higher physical activity level for about 3 to 4 months. The real goal now is to see whether they can do that in the long term, so we would be looking at seeing whether they continue this for 1 year, 2 years maybe. We included children who were aged 10 to 16 years, who were overweight or obese, and who were seen at the MassGeneral Research Community Health Center in Revere. And children had to live in the North Shore communities of Revere, Chelsea, or Winthrop. The built environment is the term we use to describe the physical infrastructure around us, things made by humans. So for instance, architecture and urban planning. So things like streets, sidewalks, parks, buildings, features within buildings like stairs. All these things that are made by humans are considered the built environment as opposed to the natural environment, which would be things that grow on their own, like trees and grass. So what we did is we actually tried to use each child's own built environment to help them understand how they can use their built environment. And the way we did that is we gave each child an accelerometer, and we gave them a global positioning system receiver, a GPS receiver. And what that allowed us to do is it allowed us, by combining this data and mapping it out electronically, we were able to identify the area, map out the areas where children were physically active. And then we showed that information to children and their families, and we highlighted within that map, we showed them where their house was and their school was, and we showed them the areas where they were physically active and the areas where they were not physically active. In certain instances, we would notice that there was usable built environment within their neighborhood, around their house or their home, that they were not using. I mean, those are the environments that we discussed with them, where we tried to teach them ways that they could use their surrounding built environment in new ways to increase their daily physical activity.
Since I've done the study, I've been more active. I'm now doing basketball and softball, so I think I learned that it's more fun to go outside and play than sit inside and watch TV.
She's out there when I go, I'm gonna go for a walk. I mean, she's like, can I go walking? You know, if I'm gonna go out and do something, she wants to go out and do it. So whatever kind of activity we're out, she's automatically jumping in and being involved. As a parent, you're always proud when your child decides that, instead of watching that show, she'd rather go out and do wiffle ball or play soccer or go out and basketball. I mean, many times Emma didn't need to go out and practice basketball, but she did it all the same, and it wasn't required. She just went out and wanted to get better and wanted to get stronger, not just in basketball, but just overall physically, and become more healthier. So, it's rewarding to see that as a parent.
Children who we were able to teach about the built environment, we found that they were able to increase their daily physical activity levels. And they were able to increase their daily physical activity by about 14 minutes a day, which is pretty remarkable considering the average baseline physical activity in this patient population was under a half an hour a day. And the recommendations for children from the American Academy of Pediatrics are that children get 60 minutes of physical activity a day. And the hope is that this is a lifelong skill that they'll be able to take with them and use throughout their life wherever they live. And the hope is that now that they've acquired this set of skills, they'll be able to identify the areas within their environments that are useful to them and that can be leveraged to increase their daily physical activity. The hope is that we will replicate this in a larger study with more children and in different cities, not just Boston, so that we can hopefully replicate the results and show that this is something that children can do and that over the long term will have sustained effects as well.